Michael I of Russia became the first Russian Tsar of the House of Romanov after the Zemskiy sobor of 1613 elected him to rule the Tsardom of Russia. He was the son of Feodor Nikitich Romanov and of Xenia. He was also a nephew of Feodor I through his aunt Anastasia Romanovna and through marriage with Tsar Ivan IV of Russia. His accession marked the end of the time of troubles of 1598 to 1613. Life and reign. Michael's grandfather, Nikita, was brother to the earlier Tsarina Anastasia and a central advisor to Ivan the Terrible. As a young boy, Michael and his mother had been exiled to Beloozero in 1600. This was a result of the recently elected Tsar Boris Godunov in 1598, falsely accusing his father, Feodor, of treason. This may have been partly because Feodor had married Xenia He against Boris's wishes. Michael was unanimously elected Tsar of Russia by a National Assembly on the 21st of February 1613, but the delegates of the council did not discover the young Tsar and his mother at the Ipatiev monastery near Kostroma until the 24th of March. He had been chosen after several other options had been removed, including royalty of Poland and Sweden. Initially, Martha protested, believing and stating that her son was too young and tender for so difficult an office, and in such a troublesome time. Michael's election and accession to the throne form the basis of the Ivan Susanin legend, which Russian composer Mikhail Glinka dramatized in his opera A Life for the Tsar. In so dilapidated a condition was the capital at this time that Michael had to wait for several weeks at the Troitsa monastery, 75 miles off, before decent accommodation could be provided for him at Moscow. He was crowned on the 22nd of July 1613. The first task of the new Tsar was to clear the land of the countries occupying it. Sweden and Poland were then dealt with respectively by the Peace of Stolbovo and the Truce of Juliano. The most important result of the Truce of Juliano was the return from exile of the Tsar's father, who henceforth took over the government till his death in October 1633, Michael occupying quite a subordinate position. Tsar Michael suffered from a progressive leg injury, which resulted in his not being able to walk towards the end of his life. He was a gentle and pious prince who gave little trouble to anyone and effaced himself behind his counselors. Sometimes they were relatively honest and capable men like his father, sometimes they were corrupted and bigoted, like the Saltykov relatives of his mother. He was married twice. He was married after Princess Maria Vladimirovna Dolgorukova in 1624, but she became ill and died in early 1625, only 4 months after the marriage. In 1626, he married Eudoxia Streshneva, who bore him 10 children, of whom 4 reached adulthood. The future Tsar Alexis and the Tsarevna Irina, Anna, and Tatiana. Michael's failure to wed his elder daughter Irina with Count Valdemar Christian of Schleswig-Holstein, a morganatic son of King Christian IV of Denmark, in consequence of the refusal of the latter to accept Orthodoxy, so deeply afflicted him as to contribute to bringing about his death on the 12th of July 1645. Michael's governments. The 2 government offices that were most important politically were Posolsky Prikaz and Razryadny Prikaz. Those offices could be pivotal in struggles between boyar factions, so they were traditionally headed not by boyars but by Dyke. The first head of the Posolsky Prikaz under Michael was Pyotr Tretyakov until his death in 1618. He conducted policy of allying with Sweden against Poland. The next one, Ivan Gromotin, had a reputation of a Poloniophile. This appointment was necessary to bring forth Filaret's release from captivity. In mid-20s, Filaret began preparations for war with Poland. Gromotin fell in his disfavor and was fired and exiled in 1626. The same fate was shared by Efim Telepnov in 1630 and Fedor Nikitich in 1631. They too tried to soothe Filaret's belligerent approach. Ivan Gryazov, appointed in 1632, was promoted from second ranks of bureaucracy to fulfill Filaret's orders. After Filaret's and Gryazov's deaths, the post was once again assumed by Gromotin in 1634, and after the latter's retirement in 1635 by Nikitich. With general course on pacification, Razryadny Prikaz was first headed by Sidavny Vasilyev. Filaret replaced him by his fellow in captivity Tomilo Lugovskoy, but the latter somehow caused Filaret's anger and was exiled. In 1623 Fedor Nikitich was made head of Prikaz till his shift to Pozolsky Prikaz, and in 1630 Razryad was given to Ivan Gavrinev, an outstanding administrator who took up this post for 30 years. Three other strategic officers were Streletsky Prikaz, Treasury, and Aptekarsky Prikaz. After Filaret's arrival, the former heads were sent away from Moscow, and all three given to Ivan Cherkassky, who proved to be an able and competent administrator and was a de facto prime minister till his death in 1642. Fedor Sheremetev, who had succeeded to all Cherkassky's posts, was a rather weak figure. The real power was in the hands of a court-martial, Alexei Lvov. Issue. From his marriage to Eudoxia Streshneva, Michael fathered 10 children. Ancestry.